Pixel Dungeon might look simple on the surface, but don't let these pixels fool you. This is a VR dungeon crawler that's way more polished and enjoyable than it has any right to be. In this review, I'll break down exactly what this game does right and where it stumbles, starting with the theme. Now, this game doesn't spend much time trying to tell some deep, emotional story, but that works in its favor. There is a story here. You're diving into dungeons to deal with demons that are weakening your connection to the gods, or something along those lines. But the story itself is clearly a backdrop to help the world make sense. Usually I'd have a problem with this, but for this game at least, the real focus is the gameplay loop. This means fighting, looting, and coming out stronger than when you went in. So as you could guess by the name of the game, there is plenty of dungeon crawling here. Something that does stand out though is how much freedom the game gives you to play your way. Between all the different skins and weapon types, there's a lot of room for self-expression. And because the combat is solid across the board, you're not locked into chasing the best weapon. That's in the realm of mechanics though, so let's get into that. Let me start by saying combat in Pixel Dungeon is surprisingly well paced. You've got a decent variety of enemies, each with their own abilities and animations. That said, you'll be fighting a lot, so expect to see the same enemies pop up again and again if you're running the same dungeon. I didn't see anything explicitly stating these dungeons are procedurally generated, but they definitely feel like they are. Speaking of dynamic, the frictionless transition into multiplayer is solid. As someone who doesn't mind getting carried from time to time, I appreciated how smooth and fun the whole experience felt. There's no level limit to enter the harder dungeons, so even a complete novice can tag along and score some top-tier gear and rewards. That said, it doesn't make for an effortless endgame experience. There's still a level requirement to equip higher level gear, which keeps things relatively fair. There's even a skill tree that lets you double down on whatever playstyle you enjoy most. As you level up, you gain points to put wherever you want. You can go full glass cannon or mix it up if you want to be agile. I always appreciate this level of customization. It's not Skyrim levels deep or anything like that, but it's good enough. The inventory system might throw you off at first though. Weapons and gear you find in chests go into your permanent inventory, which you can only manage outside of dungeons. Inside, you've got a bag with 8 fixed slots that hold whatever you find during the run. Stuff like apples for healing, keys for chests, and these cute little bombs that are great for crowd control. When you finish a dungeon, the gear you earned shows up in your room where you can organize it and decide what goes into your loadout. You can also use your coins to upgrade weapons, and even if you get a duplicate weapon, they don't all have the same stats. The difference between the exact same name and tier of weapon can be pretty significant depending on the stats. This of course means finding a repeat doesn't feel like a waste, since it might be better than what you have. There's not much to say about Pixel Dungeon's graphics outside of the fact that the use of color really surprised me. For a pixelated VR game, it looks shockingly good inside the headset. The colors, shading, and effects all come together in a way that makes this simple looking game pop. I wasn't expecting much going in, but the lighting and color usage make this game look genuinely great. Even the bosses look intimidating, especially the first time you run into one solo. Visually, this game absolutely nails the aesthetic it's going for. When it comes to audio, the sound design in this game is very well executed. For what Pixel Dungeon is going for, the soundscape fits perfectly. From the clink of collecting coins after smashing crates to the impact of weapon hits, everything has that satisfying audio feedback. And audio feedback in games is incredibly important. Seriously, imagine playing any RPG with zero combat sound effects. That said, the music is a bit loud by default, but that's an easy fix in the settings and definitely worth adjusting, especially if you're playing with others. Speaking of which, voice chat is straightforward and frictionless. That seems pretty common in VR titles. I run into significantly fewer microphone issues in VR compared to PC games. The options menu isn't the most immersive thing you'll see in VR, but it's laid out cleanly and it works. There's no built-in vignette option, which might throw some people off, but you can reduce brightness. Interestingly, it creates a similar effect by darkening the edges of your vision more than the center, which can help with motion sickness. One feature I really appreciated is the ability to adjust your gear slot and backpack position using a simple slider. It makes a big difference in comfort, and you can reset everything back to default if you make a mistake. Also, this game supports a solid number of languages.
This is clearly English.
Korean, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Dutch, Polish, Russian. Well, hold on. That's Japanese. And then I guess these are both some kind of form of Chinese. All in all, this is a fun and well-paced dungeon crawler with just enough depth to keep you coming back. The combat is satisfying, the progression feels rewarding, and you can express yourself with high levels of customization. Sprinkle in a solid multiplayer experience and you've got a title that feels way more polished than you'd expect from a pixel-based VR game. Speaking of polishing, feel free to polish both the like and subscribe buttons, then hop onto Steam or Meta to grab this title because it's definitely worth the money in my opinion. Thanks for watching, and until next time.